Welcome back to the Startup Show. I'm John Biggs. Today on the show we have Stacey Yudin. She's CEO of NEP, which is communications for all kinds of interesting folks. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little about NEP and the new product that you guys are talking about?
Yeah, NEP Service, we're a strategic communications and technology firm specifically dedicated to the labor market, unions, associations, and nonprofits. So we're rolling out Connect Plus, which is a strategic communications platform geared on building power for labor unions, organizations, and membership associations. It's the only platform currently on the market that really solves these big data challenges in these sort of dispersed organizations across the country.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about that. I'm not familiar with all the what unions are looking for in terms of data. What do they need?
Yeah, well, unions and nonprofits, they have a lot of data, right? They have membership data, they potentially have donor data, and there's really no way to unify these very large data sets. So we work with some of the largest unions on the first responder side. They have hundreds of thousands of members with, goals of outreaching to their membership, growing their fundraising base. And to do that, you need a platform to manage that data and actually make it useful. It's not very useful sitting in an Excel spreadsheet, right? That doesn't really help that union, organization, association get their message out. So, what our platform Connect Plus does is it's an all-in-one transformational communication product that allows anyone, with low tech experience to build a database and start sending communications out. That's push notifications, text, email, chat. It creates cohesion among their membership. It allows them to engage the community more effectively as well as their membership, right? You have to remember that these organizations are spread out geographically across entire states, internationally, or maybe nationally. So it's a big there's a lot of issues with growing their membership as well as outreaching to their current members, and that's really the product and the challenge that we're solving.
So that's an interesting idea. Like, I mean, you're basically like a union, getting unions together, getting union members to mobilize, etc. It's historically been sort of a grassroots, on the ground, somebody yelling from a soapbox kind of situation. How has that changed over even the past 10 years that you've worked in it?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's funny. Economies shrink and grow, expand, and really at the foundation of every local community are the strategic partners, which a lot of those are membership-based associations and nonprofits. So Boys and Girls Club, Ronald McDonald Homes, they're really the heart of a community. And so they've been left out of this technology revolution that's happened, right? They're kind of left out of the conversation. And what I say is you should always run your nonprofit like you do a business.
Hmm.
So we've developed best in class communication and data tools to help them analyze their data, run KPI, drive better, more informed decisions, just like you would in a Fortune 500 company, just like you would on this podcast, reviewing your APIs and your audience data. We help them do it. We help them do that in a way that's really tactile and very useful so that they can then deploy campaign, grassroots information, start a rally, or just engage their membership to make sure that the members know of all the benefits, training opportunities that the organization or department or nonprofit provides. There's a lot more services that unions and organizations provide that strengthen workers in America than just, oh, we show up to a rally and we carry picket signs.
Hmm.
So we're helping them deploy that information in real time.
How do you how do you inject technology into traditionally, I guess, non-technological organizations? Like a nonprofit, I can imagine their primary mission is to, I don't know, buy food for folks or house some people. They don't have the budget for technology. How do you get around that?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question to be in my role. How do we create a product that's price flexible with features? How do we create a product that can be rolled out seamlessly and easily so that at any time it's not a huge burden price wise or infrastructure wise to roll out our SaaS communication platform. So that has been both a development and a business challenge from a pricing perspective that NEP has solved over the last half decade. And that really comes down to the architecture of our software, the way that we arrange and hold data, the way that we connect multifaceted organizations. So, for example, a lot of nonprofits, you need to think of them like franchises. They may operate locally, they have district councils, they may have statewide chapters, and they may report up to a national organization. And so we're able to provide that flexibility so that on ramp to the technology is not something that is entirely based around their existing budget. So a lot of what our platform does is also help raise money to offset the implementation costs and the rollout cost of our platforms.
Oh,
So
interesting.
we've been able to do both at the same time.
So I'm sure there's plenty of folks out there who are really interested in working in nonprofit. Um, what's the best way for like a modern tech entrepreneur to start thinking about doing that, working in the space, providing services, or actually providing a nonprofit service themselves?
I grew up in a household where we were always very, very embedded into our local community. I started volunteering at a young age. And so it gave me insight into, how do nonprofits, how do you fundraise? How do you connect with your community? How do you market yourself as an organization? And ultimately, a nonprofit has an agenda. They want to provide better products and services to their audience, the people that they're serving, a food bank, whoever is a part of their mission statement. So if you want to operate in the space, I think you have to get in and get your hands dirty. This is not an industry with huge, massive, budgets and huge R&D spends and the ability to really, um, you know, have these enormous outreach opportunities. So I would say for any tech entrepreneur or anyone who wanted to get involved in nonprofits, you need to get your hands dirty. You need to volunteer. You need to join. And I did that from a very young age. And I realized there was a business opportunity in helping nonprofits transform their operations. And that was really missing from the space.
See, that's another interesting thing. I mean, you could argue that like a nonprofit's similar in scale to a startup. Startups don't have a lot of cash. Nonprofits don't have a lot of cash. So, I go back to that same question: like, how do you ensure that you're not damaging the nonprofit by offering these services? Is that something you think about, or how do you think about it that way?
Yeah. I don't. So, what I tell nonprofit leaders all the time is that you got to run your nonprofit like a business. You need to invest in people and you need to invest in your foundation because what you're selling is a brand to help individuals to the cause. And if you're not willing to invest, you sometimes do need to put the cart before the ox. And so, NEP's been able to monetize our SaaS platforms that allows a nonprofit to raise funds at the same time
Mm.
recaptured what traditionally is lost revenue in that cycle. So it's really about investing in the best tools. And you need to run it like a business. You just happen to be a business that gives away your profits at the end of the year to a cause. So by investing in people and measuring your performance, that's a better indicator than maybe the budget that you see. When all these watchdog charity groups, right? You can pull a 990 report. You can see how much they spend on salaries, how much they spend on tech. Our platforms allow them to monetize from day one so that they're seeing that revenue growth, that brand growth as well across the platforms. And that again, that helps them solve this challenge of how do I get started with a very limited if and no budget at all.
How did you innovate? How did you build the tool um, under to within the budget? How did you maintain that within the organization? That sort of discipline.
Yeah, I mean, discipline is a great word. You have to be, I would say, fierce with your selection of feedback you're getting from clients and the features that you decide to build. One of the things that I focused on in my leadership as I've come up through the company on the technical division is we need to listen to clients. We need to take the ego out of the development process, get on the ground, like I said earlier, get your hands dirty with nonprofits, see what they really need. And so we built close strategic partnerships with key stakeholders in large nonprofits and unions across the country. I spent about 2 years on the road, going door to door, really spending the time up front architecting a system with my development team before we even started actually coding. And took the me out of the process. I can sit in a room and I can tell you as an entrepreneur what I think the solution to your problem is. But we did not approach it like that. This is a client driven, client centric. And I say that I'm client obsessive when it comes to talking with clients. And I've spread that vision and that communication strategy across my company and internally. So my customer success, their role is not just to deliver products, it's to keep the conversation going. And that feedback as well from customers has helped us iterate into our third generation of this platform, where now it solves the major pain points and really delivers on their key priorities: membership engagement, strategic communication across the organization, and with one touch of a button, they can eliminate probably 3 or 4 other platforms they're using by onboarding our one all-in-one Connect Plus application.
Can you tell me a story about a client who might have had a major issue and that you were able to solve with the Connect, and how did you dig that out of them?
Yeah, so I think one of the genius moments that happens when you really focus on building the respect and trust of your clients and you continually listen is that they give you information and nuggets of information. They let you behind the gates. They invite you into their world. And when they do that as, someone who wants to solve problems, you see the product through their eyes. So one of the biggest challenges is, again, this dispersion of data among local nonprofits, their regional partners, their statewide affiliates, their national organizations. And so data is being replicated across a ton of different organizations, but it's the same user. It is me. I have a local organization. I'm a part of the state. I'm part of the national chapter, but my communication among this one brand is not seamless. And so as a user, as someone who would donate, as someone who could be engaged with my organization, I'm not, because I'm getting, approached ineffectively, and time and money is spent multiple times trying to outreach. So the big issue was this massive amount of data organization and seamless integration with communication systems that can provide the security and permissioning at a local level, but scale up and scale down based on who their related organizations are. So keeping them in the brand, right? So creating that brand power from a nonprofit perspective, from the local organization in the city where I grew up, all the way up to that national. That is the big challenge. How do we seamlessly create that flow of information and data?
Okay. What's next for you and the team?
So we're rolling out right now a comprehensive member benefits and payments dues system right now. So we've been able to innovate in the dues space to allow, again, that flow of user records and payments up and down organizations as well as horizontally. So again, eliminating another third-party software that the organization doesn't need and can't afford to spend, putting that natively inside of the product. So we're the payment space is a really exciting space for us, and we're rolling out our newest version of that member dues software as we speak.
Okay, very cool. All right, so folks can you're on LinkedIn, Stacey Yudin, and NEP. See, where was it? NEPservices.com. Or what was
Yep,
I looking at?
absolutely. Yeah. You can check us out at nepservices.com. Go ahead and follow us on LinkedIn, as well as my own personal LinkedIn, Stacey Yudin. We've rolled out new products and information that is really helpful for nonprofits and labor organizations, membership-based associations, on just how to work smarter, be more effective, be more agile, and embrace technology and AI. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in this space to innovate.
All right, wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Stacey. That's great.
Thank you, John.
All right, this has been the Startup Podcast. I'm John Biggs. We'll see you next episode.